everyone. In a recent video, I talked about why it's important to clean up the small messes. Today, let's talk about cleaning up the big messes. If you recall, the small messes were things such as a little lie, a little discomfort, doing things that are maybe a little selfish and not being considerate of your partner. So please look for that video about small messes. And so today let's talk about big messes. Welcome to the channel. If you like what you see, please subscribe or tell somebody else about this channel. We are working on creating lifelong love, creating a long-term marriage, being happy about it, and sticking with your partner through thick and thin. And the big mess is something that can do damage to a relationship if not addressed. A big mess is something that needs to be addressed immediately or as soon as possible. The little messes can add up and they should be addressed, but the big messes are something that surprises you, something that is extremely traumatic, something that is very sad, something that rocks your world. And so let's talk about some big messes. I'll give an example from my own marriage. Many years ago, my husband went to the dentist and just decided to have $7,000 of elective work done. He had had some gold fillings and just decided to have it all ripped out. And we didn't discuss this. And to me, $7,000 was a big expense. However, we learned that maybe we weren't communicating well. He didn't think that was as big a deal. And I thought it was. I thought that we could have discussed it first and said, okay, how are we going to pay for this? When are we going to pay this off? Great, you want the work done. But he just went ahead and did it. And I was like, ooh. So I thought that was a big mess because perhaps he didn't think it was important. I can't even remember the details, but I don't think he thought it was important enough to discuss with me. He didn't think he needed my quote-unquote approval or input into this decision. So what we should have done, but we didn't, was set a dollar amount or a standard. Okay, well, what is too much to spend without consulting our partner? So as you probably will agree, financial decisions and financial differences are one thing that can be a struggle in a marriage. Another example of a big mess would be if someone has an emotional affair or a physical affair. How they got caught, how they admitted it, how long it went on. So that's a big mess. And oftentimes when the partner first discovers it is pretty traumatic, and I would recommend professional help in that situation. Your world just gets turned upside down and you might need a program, you might need some professional help, and that is just something that should not be kept a secret, should not go unexamined, and it's something to be worked through. What's an example of another big mess? Let's say you do have a budget, thinking of a financial example. Let's say you do have a budget and things are pretty tight, and you did have $10,000 in the bank in your savings, and one partner felt lucky and was a little bit of a gambler and took that money and actually won, but was on a winning streak and then lost the money. Well, that is not a smart thing to do. That just creates more exhaustion. It just creates more stress, and it opens up a whole new set of problems. First of all, the budget was tight, and so this one partner kind of went behind the back. So that you'll find that big messes occur if one partner goes behind the back and does something they shouldn't do, if one partner's ego gets in the way, and if one partner maybe is just kind of depressed or feeling like they just want to just make their own decision. Okay, so a big mess is not something that we need to go and get divorced about. It's something we need to examine why it happened, what happened, what are we going to do about it, where are we going to go from here, do we need some help. We also need to communicate more and discuss who is going to be told. Oftentimes, the wife or the husband might talk outside the marriage about to their mother or their father or their best friend. And sometimes there are things that are so private that the other partner would not want another one hearing. Big messes can actually create growth for new movement. Creating growth is wonderful. And so after the big mess, you could almost be grateful that you had it and that you recovered from it and that you're going to grow from it. And then who knows, someday you can help somebody else in a situation who makes the same mistake. And speaking of mistakes, you don't want to make the same mistake twice or make it over and over. So when you have a big mess, clean it up sooner rather than later. And I like to think of a sculptor. A sculptor will take a small tool to chisel away at his sculpture. And so those we can call that a small mess. And so the small messes might not be noticed at first. They just go away. But let's just say the sculptor gets a big slab, a big cube of marble, and takes a big tool and just smashes it to get to a point. And that's what a big mess is. A big mess is noticeable and it's shocking. And I think that every marriage will have small messes, big messes. And today I just want to encourage you to face the small messes and the big messes. Own up to them. Don't be afraid to bring it up to your partner. Don't keep it hidden or secretive, because that big mess doesn't really go away. You think it's going to go away, or maybe it'll go away, but a big mess is something that needs to be cleaned up. Have a great day and make your marriage great.